city seat of Kooyong, Teal independent Monique Ryan has added her voice to the long and sometimes bitter debate over Victoria's native forest logging. She's congratulating the Andrews government, and Monique Ryan's with us here in the studio. Welcome back, Monique. Your role, how have you used your voice as a federal MP to try and put momentum behind this?
I think this is a really good day for Victoria, Greg, for a number of different reasons. Since I campaigned for the seat of Kooyong in 2022, and since that time I've been advocating on behalf of the native forest in Victoria, and I think it's really important for a number of reasons that we stop native forest logging. And the first thing is the economy. It's actually harmed the state of Victoria to keep propping up an economy which is an industry which is no longer at all productive. In 2020, the Parliamentary Budget Office said that continuing native forest logging in Victoria would cost $190 million over the next decade. That was before the industry lost $54 million in 2022. So it would hurt our economy, it would hurt our climate. There's the native forest logging in Victoria alone emits the carbon equivalent of 730,000 cars a year.
Yeah.
So then there's health.
Yep,
As a doctor, I feel very passionate about it.
Okay,
it's a massive
let's not
win
run
for
through the
us.
whole list, but I might pick you up on the economic side of it, because you cite a figure there of almost 200 million. It just so happens that 200 million will be spent to transition, as they say, or adjust workers out of native forest logging. Can that fully compensate them for their losses, though?
Well, look, I think it's really important that with any industry like native forest logging, that we help the workers of that industry, once it's no longer economic, transition in a just and supportive way.
The reality is, so I mean, it's truncated. It was to be what, 6 years, and
most
now it's
of the
7
logging
months?
coops in Victoria have not been actively logged in the last 6 to 12 months because of ongoing legal action around them. And the Andrews government had previously, I'm not here to be an apologist for the Andrews government, but they had previously signalled to that industry that it would be shut down by 2030. Yeah. We've been waiting for some time for clarity around that, and I think that it's good that that clarity has now been provided.
Now, I think you're not opposed to plantation forests, but where exactly would they be? They won't be in proximity to areas recently logged.
We already have significant plantation forestry industry in Victoria, and in fact 93% of the wood which has previously come out of native forests has essentially gone along the same route as plantation forest timber, to wood chips and to paper manufacturing. So we already have a well-developed plantation forestry industry, and that should continue and it should be fostered.
Will timbers have to be imported into Victoria
no, I wouldn't think so at all.
for flooring and the like?
No. In fact, what we've done before, which has been crazy, is we have been cutting down native forestry timber. We've been sending it overseas for processing, and then we've been buying it back at a cost to ourselves. What we need to do is to work on our ability to process our own timber locally and to work on fostering that industry.
Now, I know I don't have the figures in front of me, but the industry has used as part of its argument the carbon sequestration capacity of these forests, and that they regenerate when logged. Wouldn't that more than offset the vehicle emission equivalent that you've already quoted in this interview?
The problem with the carbon sequestration ability of native forests, which is massive, is that it takes time. And really it takes at least 75 to 100 years for native forests to regenerate properly. What we've seen in the last 10 or 20 years is a massive loss of native forestry overall in the state of Victoria. And the use of water and the effect on our soils of regeneration of that over periods of time it does not compare to the benefit that we get from not cutting down those forests.
Puts you behind the eight ball. All right, finally, Monique Ryan, The Voice. We're on the front edge of a pretty long debate, it sounds like, in the House through this week and some of next. You've already spoken.
I have.
How do you think the campaign's going to look over the next 6 months from where we stand now?
Look, in Kooyong we've already delivered 75,000 copies of the Uluru Statement of the Heart to the Kooyong residents. We've got 175 volunteers out knocking on doors already, talking to people about it, and in Kooyong the mood is good. I think unfortunately a lot of the discussion and the narrative around The Voice in this place has been unhelpful and negative, and sometimes unfortunately toxic. That is not the case in my electorate, and I'm really looking forward to talking to people about a really important issue.
Do you think it's representative, though, the view that you pick up in Kooyong?
Well, it's representative of my electorate. It's representative of many, many electorates around Australia, and I think it's really unfortunate that certain parts of our polity has spoken in such a negative and toxic way, which is unproductive and is not helping us have the discussion that we need to have in a respectful and positive way about one of the most important issues of our generation.
Do you hold out, just finally, any hope that that improves? I mean, we just had others on the program predicting that it may not. It may, in fact, deteriorate.
Look, I'm a positive thinker. I think that we can do better as a parliament, and I know that we can do better as a country.
All right. Monique Ryan, thanks for covering off both areas, forestry and The Voice. Not sure they're related, but good to have you back in the studio.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.